And that's where the financial freedom started to come. We were able to live off such a fraction of our actual income and then start investing that it allowed for one, and I think it was Dave Ramsey's quote, live like nobody else will for 5 years so that you can live like nobody else can, or something like that.
Yes. The premise is there.
I love that concept because, look, we weren't going out to eat. We weren't taking big vacations. We had pretty crappy cars, but there was a purpose for it.
A reason why I want you to volunteer here, because he goes Monday through Friday and does his own practice, but then I want him to teach with the youngers for free, for volunteering. But I say, you don't know, this world is so small and so big. Perhaps when you come back from your mission, there's this opportunity for you to go to Brazil. For the people who've lived under a rock, who's Bubba Page?
Hi, everybody. I'm Bubba Page. I'm a dad of 8. Kids go from 5 to 15. I'm an entrepreneur. Sometimes they call a serial entrepreneur, which means I've just started multiple companies. Luckily, I've had a couple of successes. I've also had failure. I've done it bootstrapped, which means I didn't have anybody else's funding, but I've also done venture-backed, and where I raised capital from investors. Today, after I sold in 2020, I was also helping build more of a consumer-based product business with my now ex-wife, which the divorce finalized last year. Recommend to not do that if you don't have to. Please, do whatever you can to keep that strong. I can laugh now. Obviously, it was so
It was hell.
It was hell.
It was hell.
I'm not going to sugarcoat that.
No.
And but today I get to run Influence.vc, and so Influence.vc it's venture capital, but instead of being a fund, we invest in individual companies and then raise for each individual company.
Okay.
It's called a syndicate.
Yep.
So you can find it on AngelList if you are an accredited investor. It costs nothing to join. You can see the deals, and if you want to participate, you can.
What's a minimum-ish?
Usually it's only $2,000. So super low minimums.
Yeah.
If I were to do it without the AngelList platform, so angellist.com, that's not my platform.
Correct.
It's one that I've joined to run this. If it wasn't going through that, it would be like 10, 15, 25 sometimes is the minimum. So it's a lot easier. They make it safer for people to make a lot of small bets. When I write checks, it's usually, 25 to 50K angel checks. And then I invite my friends to come along, my investors to come along with me.
Right.
And then we typically reach, on average, about 500K per deal that we do.
Okay. Is the goal to scale and lifetime revenue, or is the goal to scale and exit?
Whenever somebody raises venture capital, there always has to be an exit in sight. Venture capital, like investors are expecting a return within 5 to 7 years typically. And so it's not for a lifestyle business. We typically don't invest in lifestyle where they're just growing and producing dividends. It is, hey, can you produce at least a 10x return? And so being in the venture capital world, you know that if you invest in 10 companies, 3 will completely fail. 3 will break even and you maybe get your money back. 3, you might get maybe a 1 or 2x return. And then 1
is your unicorn.
Will hopefully be amazing.
Is your unicorn.
Well, I don't even know if it'll be a unicorn, but it hopefully will be a return the entire amount.
Yes.
But most angel investors, if they're doing it on their own, the statistics say that angel investors have to invest in 20 companies if they're doing it on their own and not going through funds who have expertise. 20 companies to even come close to making a profit.
Wow.
Just because, look, most angel investors, they're just random people who maybe has their neighbor or friend down the street start a company. And so he gives his money to that person, but he only saw maybe 2 deals the entire year.
Yes.
And so his chances of picking a great company are very, very small, where I'm looking at hundreds of deals and then I cherry pick what are the best ones.
Yeah.
And then the name Influence for Influence.vc is because we then bring influencers into the companies or brands that we invest into, consumer product, consumer tech, and we help them scale with the influencer reach.
Brilliant.
Which is not as common. And so it's been fun to be invited into deals by other investors because of our expertise. So
I love that. Did you hear Warren Buffett's last speech?
No, I missed it.
So he mentioned exactly what you just said. You talked about, I see, lots, thousands of deals, right? He had a question that everybody does every year, why are you the greatest? How are you the greatest? You're leaving, what wisdom do you leave, et cetera, as though you could bottle 8 decades into a conversation. Yeah. Anyhow, one of the things that he said, I've stood at the plate for 60 years. And so I know what balls to swing at. Yeah. Yes. That's what he said. He said, I just keep watching them come over the plate and come over the plate.
Yeah, I love that.
It's pretty good, right?
Yeah, and patience.
Patience. Yeah. Especially in today's world. I mean, you're like, okay, let's go down that rabbit hole. A lot of people who talk to me want the results tomorrow. And so with the social media generation that you're deeply entrenched in, especially influence.vc.
Yep.
This screams social media. How do you talk to somebody and say, there's a 30% chance this goes sideways? How do you say that and then get them to still get on board? That's a tough conversation.
Yeah. I mean, the reality is if I'm, let's say, mentoring, advising, or coaching someone,
Okay.
I always try and set that expectation up front.
Yeah.
Because if their eyes are filled with stars because they want to be on a cover of a magazine or sell a business for $100 million or whatever, it's they're few and far between that's actually going to happen.
Yeah.
And you can look at the statistics, ChatGPT it in 2 seconds, you'll find out the likelihood that you'll have that kind of success. And it's very small. You can increase those chances by mentorship, advisors, or the right people with you. But I try to help motivate people. Honestly, if they're new entrepreneurs, I tell them to not raise investor capital.
That's interesting.
I absolutely, if they're first time, even second time entrepreneurs, but first time primarily, I tell them to go start a service-based business.
Like?
I mean, it could be anything. It could be mowing lawns, window washing. It could be detailing cars. It can be.
I love pest control.
Yeah, any of them, right?
Yeah.
Just a service-based business, to me, teaches you the fundamentals of business better.
There you go.
So the principle I teach my kids, we were talking about carpools, is rep. And this is like the ultimate basics of basics. Okay. So rep, those 3 letters, revenue minus expenses equals profit. Now, I know that sounds oversimplistic, but really every business has to have rep. Mm-hmm. And when you raise venture capital, it throws everything kind of in this weird funk because you have money in the bank because you have investor capital, but that's not revenue.
No.
And so you can confuse success and maybe play entrepreneur too often by getting a nice office, getting all this new equipment because you got investor capital, instead of going and getting customers who's real revenue. So when you do a service-based company, you usually don't even have to have investor capital.
Yeah.
And any type of service that you think somebody needs. My son, we talked about, wants to clean shoes. Mm-hmm. And he's going in, sophomore year, and he's like, everybody's got these shoes. Maybe we'll clean them. I'm like, okay, that's a service-based company.
Yeah.
Let's do the math. How much revenue can you create? And he's like, well, maybe I could charge $12 a pair.
Okay.
And so I could do maybe 2 of those in an hour. And so you can generate $24 an hour. I'm like, okay, well, what are your expenses? Well, I've got to buy the shoe cleaning kit. I've got to actually, do the work.
Sure.
So my time. Mm-hmm. So if the shoe cleaning kit, we did the math, it was like between $1 and $2.
Okay.
Per pair of shoes.
Love it.
So let's say it was $1. So, he's got $22 of profit that can go directly to him on a per hour basis. Well, that's better than he coaches at the tumbling gym for like $8 an hour. So $22 an hour is a lot better.
Yeah.
But then I said, okay, this is great. And if you love it, fantastic. Mm-hmm. And you can get people who are reoccurring customers because they want to clean their shoes. But I had talked to him about another idea and walked him through the rep process. And if there are any new entrepreneurs here, hopefully this helps. I said, if you and your sister were to do tumbling classes, they're nationally ranked tumblers.
Okay. So
multiple years in a row, they've placed in the top 10 in the nation for tumbling. Cool. So they are very qualified to teach, 4 to 10-year-olds tumbling. And I said, what if you guys each got 10, if together you got 10 students and you were able to earn $100 from those 10 students, $10 an hour from each student, how much would you guys be making an hour? And he was like, well, between the 2 of us, if we had $100, that would give us $50 each. And I was like, and what would be your costs associated? So that's revenue. Mm-hmm. What are your expenses? And he's like, I don't know, maybe we'd give him treats or something in the practice. I'm like, great. So maybe a few bucks, an hour that you'd be giving treats away. So $10 an hour. So that's $90 left between the 2 of you. Split by 2 is $45 an hour. So cleaning shoes or doing tumbling lessons, where do you make more money if it was on a per hour basis?
Correct.
And he was like, oh, I get that. I'm like, yeah, you could double the amount of income you made on a per hour basis by doing tumbling lessons. Now, if you don't like it, don't do it. Go clean shoes if you love to clean shoes.
Correct.
But it was fun to walk through this process so he understood, what is his time worth and how can he make the most out of it?
Love it.
And then I said, okay, so that's more of a self-employed standpoint when you're making money on a per hour basis. Mm-hmm. Dentists do the same. They can make great money, but if their hands aren't in somebody's mouth,
no money.
They're not making any money. Same with an attorney. If you're not reviewing a contract, billing hourly, you're not making money until you have employees. And if those employees are doing the work for you and you have to pay them a percentage of whatever you earned, now you've converted into a business owner. So, okay, son, so let's say you did gymnastics with your sister and you did 10 people, 10 kids, but you had more than enough. You had 20 kids who wanted to do it. Well, you could hire your friends, pay them $15 an hour, which is more than what they'd make at the gym. And then you got to profit the $30 extra,
Sure.
right? After expenses.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that? And he was like, oh my gosh, so I didn't even have to teach that class and I still got to keep $30 an hour?
Light bulb.
It's like,
Beautiful.
that's called business ownership.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what is it? The cash flow quadrant, Robert Kiyosaki, this isn't my quote. You have an employee, you have a self-employed person, like we just talked about. Employee, obviously everybody knows what that is. You go get a job. Self-employed is you're paying yourself, but then you have a business owner and you have an investor. Where you build wealth is as a business owner or as an investor. Typically, you can't become an investor until you've made money as a business owner.
Correct.
So those kind of go hand in hand if you've been able to generate enough profit in your business, or potentially you've generated enough cash flow from self-employment and you've been able to be self-disciplined enough to live on much less than your income, then you can take the excess and you can become an investor. So there is a chance of a self-employed person becoming an investor and generating more wealth. Most Americans who are in the wealthiest categories are business owners. And that's just kind of how that process works. So anyway, Entrepreneurship 101, we just covered a little bit of that.
I love it, man. It's beautiful. How did you get started?
You know what? I had 0 entrepreneurs in my family.
Really?
No training as a kid.
Okay.
Although if I go way back, like 12, 13-year-old, I'd rollerblade.
It's really not that far back, but keep
I know,
going.
not too far.
You're like way back. Get out of here.
I did turn 42 just 2 weeks ago.
Okay, I know. I sent you a text.
That's right. That's right. You do.
Looked like a blast at the lake, too.
It was so much fun.
Looked
Lake Powell's
awesome.
a good place.
Cool.
Okay, so
How'd you get started? You go way back.
way back, 12 or 13 years old,
Yep.
I would rollerblade, which I still love to rollerblade.
Okay.
I don't do it very often, but it's so awesome.
Okay.
I would rollerblade down to the golf course.
Oh.
And where I lived in Northern California. And my buddy and I, Matt Locke is his name. I remember him to this day. It's so funny. We'd get into the water, the creek bed, in our bare feet.
Yep.
And we'd just grab as many balls as we could before the marshal came. The marshal would kick us out. And I'm like, come on, Marshall, we're like 12 years old.
Right.
Nobody's going to be getting these balls
Nobody.
in the creek. So what we do is we'd pull them out of the creek. They're all nasty and muddy. And we'd put them in their little golf washer, clean them all up, dry them all off with our towel. And we'd have our backpacks full of golf balls. And we'd sell the golf balls to the golfers who were coming by.
Yep.
So our costs were just our time. And then we would generate profit by having these golf balls. And then we'd go buy whatever we wanted at the store.
Yep.
We wanted whatever candy or drink. We just made $5. Let's go.
it.
And I remember like the freedom that it gave me.
Okay.
Because my parents would never give me money. Like that wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And like some friends, you could say, hey, I'm going out to the movies, and the parents would hand them a $20 bill. Not my family group.
Really?
Not at all.
Was money tight, or was it just not a thing for the kids?
I mean,
to
I'd
have?
say we were middle class.
Okay.
Middle class Americans. And so I don't ever feel like we were hurting.
Okay.
But there was definitely not like an abundance mindset.
Here you go.
And like no toys. I wanted a dirt bike my entire life. And it wasn't until I was 18 years old making my own money that I go buy a motorcycle, right? But yeah, no boats, no four-wheelers, no cabins, none of those things, right? Vacation was driving from California to Utah.
Like fun.
Yeah, that was pretty much our vacations. I think we did go to Hawaii once.
Okay.
When I was 12. But
and for the viewers that are younger than us, that drive was done without a tablet.
Yes. Oh yeah. I would envision myself riding a dirt bike along the mountainside.
Right. It's so true. Those rides were a little more difficult.
Yeah.
Yes, they were.
But I got started then, and
That's
it was
fun.
something that like taught me the principles of like, okay, if I want freedom, I need to go create it myself.
Yeah.
And I think financial freedom is one of those things everybody wants, but not everybody's willing to work for it.
Man.
So I think being an employee, there's nothing wrong with being an employee. We all business owners need employees, but you have to recognize that when you are an employee, you could be laid off at any moment.
Yeah.
Being an entrepreneur, your business could fail at any moment too.
True.
So the risk is still pretty rough on both sides. I know there's some safety and security of feeling like you have a paycheck every week or every month, but you're not in charge.
No.
You're not in charge of your destiny. You can work as hard as you can, but sometimes a business has to do layoffs and you're struggling trying to find another job. So I think entrepreneurship is one way to help people potentially with financial freedom.
Yeah.
And you're in control of your destiny a little bit more.
Yeah.
It's not for everyone. because it is difficult and it's tough to kind of feel that pressure that the buck stops with you, especially when you have other employees and you have to make sure they're getting paid before you get paid.
Yep.
And I know when I started my first real business in 2009, I was on my own, no partners. And I mean, the first 2-ish years, first year I didn't make any money myself.
Wow.
Luckily, I had a spouse that was willing to support us while I built that business. And then it was in year 2 that I could take a paycheck, but it wasn't consistent because I needed to make sure I could make payroll. By year 3, then it was a lot more consistent. And then years 4s and 5s, then it was amazing.
Yeah.
And that's where the financial freedom started to come. We were able to live off such a fraction of our actual income and then start investing that it allowed for one, and I think it was Dave Ramsey's quote, live like nobody else will for 5 years so that you can live like nobody else can. Something like that.
Yes. The premise is there.
I love that concept because, look, we weren't going out to eat. We weren't taking big vacations. We had pretty crappy cars, but there was a purpose for it.
Yeah.
We were willing to put in the sacrifice because we knew if we did it right, then we could potentially live like nobody else could in the future. And it was a beautiful thing. I think I was 30 years old. I had income coming in from one business. Unfortunately, I had to shut down my venture-backed software company. It didn't pan out. That was the one that didn't work. But I had my bootstrapping cash flow lifestyle business that was going great. And there was a moment where I had hired the CEO. I had just shut down that venture-backed company, and I didn't have to go to work, but I had all this, I had a great income to take care of my family. And it was this first moment, the realization of, oh my gosh, this is what true financial freedom looks like. Yeah. Where I'm not forced to go to work every day. Working is good, and we shouldn't be idle hands.
No. I understand what you're saying.
Cause trouble. But it was the first time where I could choose what I wanted to do with my time, with whom I wanted to do, and where. That to me is the ultimate goal.
That's freedom.
That is freedom.
Yes.
And it doesn't mean you have to have multiple millions in an exit.
No.
But it just means that you live off of less than you earn, and that you're not forced to do something you don't want to do all the time. Anyway, I've loved it. I've tried to teach and help people with entrepreneurship all the time. Online I talk about my family, I talk about Jesus, I talk about entrepreneurship.
Yeah. What else is there?
Well, those are my priorities.
I know, right?
Faith, family, fitness, maybe a little bit of fitness in there.
Yeah.
I love that too.
Yep. No, you're spot on. We'll call it my favorite F words.
That's right. The F words.
The F words. So
Faith,
true.
Family, fitness, finance.
Yeah. So when things don't work out, that's always interesting. I used to make this joke, and it's no longer a joke. It's true. I would tell people, I don't really want to go into business with you. I don't want to invest in you unless you can prove to me that you've been in the trenches. If you've been bankrupt, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Like if you've been incarcerated, I'm excited. Like I want to see the scars on your back to know that when it gets tough, not if, business said it's going to get tough. When it gets tough, I want to know what you're made out of. Those are the people that I get super excited about. But again, in order to get those lessons, you have to be in the trenches. And I think sometimes that's where it sucks to sit in the mud, right? It's like to go through those lessons is brutal.
I think it's part of God's plan.
How come?
I look at in my belief system, my faith is we lived with God before in a spiritual form. We were able to come into this earth and receive a body. And this body is like this amazing new experience that allows us to become more like God. I believe God has a body, a perfected body and whatnot. But we received a body and we're here to be tested. We're here to have opportunities to be a father. We're here to become our own creators and learn to become more like God. But in order to become like God, we have to face unbelievable challenges. And I think there's opposition in all things. So when life is going incredibly well, be ready because something's probably going to come that's going to throw you, throw a curveball. Yeah. And then, or if you've hit that curve, the curveball came and you handled it well. Yeah. Know that there's blessings coming as well. So it's this process of life that we have to go through hard things, whether it's we lose a loved one, we fall, temptation, into temptation and addiction, or heartbreak and divorce, or businesses that don't pan out, and financial struggles. Like we're all meant to have challenges, and some of them are based on our own choices, true, and our own decisions that force those things upon us because of consequences of our own actions. But I think some of them also are learning experiences to where we can gain a deeper understanding of who we are and a test and see, like, are we going to lean in on God, or are we going to go out and are we going to shake our fist because we have to go through this challenge? It's my belief that when God gives us these challenges, and whether he's not all, again, some of them are our own doing, so
Correct.
clarify. But when we have these challenges, it's up to us whether we're going to keep that faith and turn to him in prayer, in humility, in asking for forgiveness. And one of the life principles that I've found extremely helpful, and it's one of the hardest things to do, is to, in prayer, sincerely in prayer, is ask, what do I still need to repent of? I know repentance sometimes is scary for people because they're like, oh, I don't want to have to do that. It makes me feel weird or awkward or whatever. It's one of the greatest blessings that I think God's given us, because when we're able to find and realize that we've done something not the best, that we need to be asking for forgiveness from the man upstairs and to potentially those who we've hurt.
Sure.
Or we've affected. So I've found that when I ask this question, even if I'm like doing great,
Sure.
and I haven't been doing anything that I should need to repent of,
Right.
when I ask that question, I always get something in my mind. And it's like, whether it's an angel whispering in my ear or the Spirit that's speaking to me, I always receive an answer. So I'll be honest, sometimes I hesitate to ask the question because something's going to come.
Yeah.
And then I feel like I have the responsibility to act on it.
Yeah.
And there was a thing that happened a couple of years ago where I asked this question. You know, I'm talking to God in my prayer. I'm sharing what I'm grateful for, and then I ask. I'm like, all right, God, tell me, like, what do I need to repent of? If something doesn't come easily, then I'll ask the question.
Sure.
And immediately got in my mind, it was like, when you were right outside of college, you interned at this company, and you were a total jerk as an intern to your boss. And I thought back, and I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. Like, I was a know-it-all. I thought I shouldn't be an intern. I thought I should be like a manager, helping to run the show. I had zero.
But all the answers.
I know
everything.
Gosh, it was embarrassing.
Wow.
Now that I look back, and I've hired a few hundred people since then, I was embarrassed. So the feeling I had was take him out to lunch.
Oh, wow.
And apologize. And I was like, oh, you got to be kidding. I've got to call and ask this guy to lunch. We haven't talked in years.
Weird.
But I'm like, you know what? If this is the thing that came into my mind, and it's not inherently evil, it's a good thing, then that's from God.
Yeah.
I'm just going to chalk it up that type of an inspirational thought has got to be from God.
I love it.
And so I'm going to do it. And I remember calling and after it's been years and saying, hey, I want to take you to lunch. I don't think I was the best intern I could have been. And he laughed, and he was 20 years older than I. He laughed and he said, sure, let's go to lunch. So we actually did. We went to lunch. We spent 2 hours together. And very first thing, I just shake his hand and I'm like, I'm just so sorry. I am so sorry that I was just a jerk. I was young and naive. I thought knew everything. I was a know-it-all. And again, he laughed. I mean, it had been years. To him, it was no big deal. So it was probably more for me than it even was from him. But I felt a sense of peace and comfort from doing that thing that was awkward and hard. And I knew it was almost like a test, that God was giving me this little test. Was I willing to listen? Was I willing to act upon that test? Because if I was willing to do those things, he'll give me more.
Wow.
And I call it an upward spiral. When I listen and obey, then I feel like there's this great upward spiral towards heaven. When I don't listen and I don't obey, it's a downward spiral. And we know where that can go.
Sure.
And anyway, life lesson, like if you get a chance, ask that question and then be ready to listen.
And act. That's the tough part, right?
Yeah.
Man. You don't have family here, correct? Your family.
You know, this is great. This week, I'm not even kidding, this week, what day is today? No, this past weekend. Okay. My parents just got an apartment out here.
No way.
Yeah, they've been in Arizona for 20 plus years.
Oh, wow.
And they're going to do the snowbird thing.
Oh, cool.
Like spend some of the time here, some of the time there. I finally was able to convince them.
How fun.
I think they realized that their 8 grandchildren were not getting enough time with them.
That's rad.
And so I'm so thankful. But my entire adulthood, I've never had family.
Right.
Not immediate family.
Right. What was the reason to move here?
Utah. I came here to Utah to go to BYU.
Okay.
So I was I was born in Utah. First grade went to Northern California, San Francisco Bay Area,
right.
Walnut Creek, Concord area. And then my senior year of high school, my dad got a job in Arizona. So I ended up finishing in Mesa, Arizona.
Got it.
And, Mountain View.
Mesa Mountain View.
Yep.
Go Toros.
Go Toros.
Funny.
And so I just did 1 year there, and then I came straight up here to BYU.
Okay.
And loved my time at BYU. I'm a total Cougar fan.
Okay.
And just got done with Girl Dad Camp.
I saw. Yeah.
So fun.
So cool.
And
it was just dads and daughters?
Just dads and daughters.
That's rad.
They do a father-son too, and I did that in
okay.
Just epic.
That's cool.
You get to do a bunch of sports with kids, the student athletes.
Sure.
Go all around campus. It was fun.
That's right.
And then I served a Mormon or LDS mission to Brazil in Porto Alegre do Sul. Wow. So the furthest south you can go in Brazil.
Yeah.
Learned Portuguese.
How's your
Unfortunately,
Portuguese?
I've lost so much.
My best friend went to Sao Paulo. And my son, our son does jujitsu.
Oh, no.
And so,
Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
yes. So his professor is straight off the boat. Shout out to Beto. Fantastic humans. And so I always tell Brock, I literally just told him this on Sunday. I'm like, a reason why I want you to volunteer here, because he goes Monday through Friday and does his own practice, but then I want him to teach with the youngers for free, for volunteering. But I said, you don't know, this world is so small and so big. Perhaps when you come back from your mission, there's this opportunity for you to go to Brazil. Perhaps you can go stay with his friend, his cousin, his uncle. Like, could you imagine the immersion, because this is the time that you gave to him at 14?
Yeah.
Like, the world is so amazing.
Oh, totally.
So you go to Brazil.
I went to Brazil, spent 2 years there.
Bet you loved it.
Volunteer, right? We pay our own way. It's not, you don't get paid. You're volunteering. You're knocking on doors. And in Brazil, we clapped doors.
Serious?
Yeah, you don't knock, you clap.
At the front door?
Yeah, there's like usually a little fence.
Okay.
And then there's a door, so you have to clap because you can't reach the front door.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and then but people are listening for clapping. Isn't that weird? But we're talking about Jesus, and you get a chance to like invite people to hear a message. So look, if you're listening and you've ever seen somebody with a white shirt and a tie and a name tag, be kind to them. They're just 18, 19-year-old kids.
Trying to figure it out.
They're volunteering their time.
Yep.
They just want to talk about Jesus.
Yep.
They're not going to force you to do anything. Just be kind. Maybe invite them in for a drink. Like a non-alcoholic drink, water, a soda maybe.
Right.
Give them a
Gatorade.
treat. Invite them over for dinner at some point. And if you're ever curious about learning more about Jesus and the Bible or the Book of Mormon and learning about this, the gospel, you can even find them online. You can go to comeuntochrist.org. You can request for missionaries to come to your home. Look, my son's 15, and in a matter of 3 years, he will be serving a mission, and he's already suggested that he wants to go. And so he's going to be one of these kids out there. And so I want to make sure people know, like, please be kind. It's just like somebody's kid who's out there trying to figure it all out. And they're trying to do their best. So I was out there learning Portuguese at the time and talking about Jesus. And it was a life-changing experience. If your kids ever get a chance to serve a mission, oh my gosh, they say that you go out a boy and you come back a man, because you are out there living on your own.
Cooking, cleaning, budgeting.
Oh yeah. You've got to budget your time. You've got to budget your finances. You've got to schedule meeting. You're talking to.
Communicate with other people.
You got to live with other people.
Live with other dudes.
That you didn't choose.
Yep.
These are life skills that
massive
are just incredibly beneficial.
Yeah, they are.
And so I would highly suggest parents, if you're listening, have your kids serve one of these missions. Like, it is incredibly helpful, and they can be called anywhere in the world. A lot of people are going to Africa these days. Yeah, which is wild. But
our niece just got called. She's going to speak Mandarin.
Oh my gosh!
I know. She leaves end of October.
Wow,
wild. We got another kid going to Peru. Yeah, some cool stuff happening.
They get to explore the world in a unique way and be in people's homes, which is different than when you take them on a vacation.
Oh.
So you go to Peru, you go on vacation. That's different, right? Machu Picchu.
Yeah.
But when you're in their home and they've got dirt floors and they're humble and they're serving a meal to your kid.
Oh, man.
And all they could provide is like rice and beans.
Yeah.
That kid will never be the same.
Never.
They will see this side of the world that, in America, they typically don't see. Yeah. There will be a compassion for people.
Depth of gratitude for what you have.
Yeah. I'm a huge believer in it.
Yeah.
Even if you're not like totally in on the church or even in on the gospel, the principle of serving a mission should be for every kid out there because it is a game changer. And I don't know any other way to gain that life experience.
Yeah.
I just don't know it with consistency of a year and a half for women and 2 years for men.
Service, though. Yeah. Simon Sinek, Start With Why.
Oh, yeah, he's great.
I just listened to this thing about him. And so he said, he has an interesting, I love him. He said, depression is normal. It's when you get stuck there that it becomes clinical. And he said, I would love for us to start telling the children that they will feel depressed. And to not make this, I have an issue, I have a problem, I need a medication, I need a doctor. But to go, this was just Monday afternoon. I felt a little depressed. Because you know what? Like you said earlier, Tuesday's probably coming. It's going to be, right? And so this moment of like sadness, anxiousness, depression, like to normalize some of these doldrums of life.
Totally.
Right? And I think that's where like the service aspect is what I love to focus on. He makes a comment in that's why I brought this up, is he says, so many people will say, well, how do I get unstuck? And he said, what I found to be the best thing to do to get unstuck from fill in the blank is to find the exact person who's struggling with the exact thing that you can't get unstuck from. And help them. Because by osmosis, you'll go, oh man, I'm going to take this little from your armor, this little piece that you've learned. Pretty rad, right?
I love that.
Pretty cool. So an interesting concept, right? You put yourself in these 2 years, 18 months of service-oriented scope, mind frame, whatever, actions, and you can follow that up later in life when we go through some ugly stuff. For me, while I was incarcerated for 15 months, I, God-given, had the opportunity to leave and go and teach business and entrepreneurship at the college to hundreds of inmates. And it was therapy. It was cathartic for me. That's what I would say. My wife would come down and visit on the weekends, bless her. And it was therapy to be able to pour into 400 men because I was just as locked up as they were.
Wow.
But mentally, I was like free.
That's fascinating.
Isn't that interesting? You said earlier when we first started, you said you love this idea of conversation because it allows you to kind of process some stuff.
Yeah.
What are you processing at the moment?
I respect so much what you've been through.
Oh, man.
And how you've been able to make a difference in people's lives.
Thanks.
Based on that experience. And again, it's part of God's plan.
Mm-hmm.
Like, were you meant to go through these experiences to help? I think about divorce too. Like, I didn't want this.
No.
Nobody wants that.
No.
But I'm able to now understand and have empathy for people in a new way that I didn't have before. And that's powerful.
Massive.
And so there's reasons why each one of us has our own unique life experiences. Yeah. And I feel like God's going to be putting people in your path and people in my path that we can have a positive impact if we're willing to hear. And one of the things I ask my kids, and when we pray together as a family, I'll pray and ask, who help us to know who we can help today.
Yes.
And how we can help them. Even if it's a simple smile. That can make a difference in somebody's life. And I'm trying to train my kids that they're aware of those things. And then it also, when they're thinking about others, it maybe gets them out of their own head sometimes.
Yeah.
Because, anxiety and these depression thoughts, they're real and they come. But if you're thinking about others and how you can help serve others, sometimes it can help you to get out of that. I also think simple things like exercise, our bodies are these incredible machines that if we take care of it, it will give us better results. And so eating correct foods and healthier, putting the right things into our bodies will allow for less of that, anxiety and depression. If it's reading, if it's sunlight, if it's, gratitude.
Yeah.
Like these are all pieces of the pie that can keep us as much at bay from those hard things in life.
Yeah.
Or when the hard things come, it'll give us more support when we need it. That's what I found is as I focus every day on these simple things. Yeah. Sincere prayer, scripture study, worship on a Sunday, and then worship sometime during the week, like in a temple or a synagogue or whatnot. And then service to others, like scripture study. Did I say that? I did. Mm-hmm. So these 5 things to me are like these non-negotiables that we need to do on a weekly or a daily, weekly basis. And as we do them, it builds, I was telling my son when we spoke this morning, it's like a shield. Yeah. Against the fiery darts of the adversary. And the more that we build up this shield or this, sphere around us, the more protection we get, the more guidance, because we can feel and hear the inspirations. And when we do have to face these deep depths of challenges, we'll have an ability to rise above it faster, easier, in my opinion. And then when they do come, I chose, when these trials came, I've chosen to ask the question, not like, why is this happening to me? Why me? Yeah. But what am I supposed to learn from this? Yeah. And that has been the mindset shift that I needed. What am I supposed to learn from this? Tony Robbins says something to the effect of, it's not that things happen to us, it's that they happen for us. And that is a mindset shift that can really help a lot of people get out of their heads.
Have you heard the Why Not Me from Jordan Peterson?
No, tell me that.
Bro. Melissa and I had the opportunity to spend some time with him 2 years ago-ish. And I just was recorded the whole thing because you can only take in 3% of what that man is able to articulate because he's genius. But he kind of goes through this idea of if you were an all-knowing being, call it a God, call it a maker, call it a creator. If you were an all-knowing being, how would you create the perfect human? Would it be with simplicity or adversity?
Adversity for sure.
All day long.
That's where you learn.
Would it be with pain or would it be with pleasure?
Pain all the way.
All day. And so goosebumps talking about it. So then he says, so if you continue to prayerfully ask to be closer to this individual who you believe created you perfectly, why do you continue to why me?
I love that. Yeah.
Wild, right? Beautiful.
A lot of the mindset it's all up to us, like what mindset we have. Are we in a victim mentality? Are things happening to us? Yep. Or we look at life an opportunity, and you see things. I'm more of a glass half full kind of a guy.
Totally.
I think, and that honestly was by nature. There's some nurture that we can give it. Some people are born more with a more pessimistic
Yes.
attitude.
Yes, we've met them.
And it's funny because one of my daughters struggles to have just positive attitude mostly.
Okay.
And so as she has more negative thoughts, I try to help her to realize like, hey, that's a negative thought. I need to recognize it. That's a negative thought that's in your mind. Let's toss that out. Let's replace it with a positive thought, because they're going to come.
Yes.
And some might be more inclined to dwell on that negative thought,
Yep.
especially if it's about themselves.
Yeah.
And
Do you think it's her age or her personality? And I'm asking because I have a 10-year-old.
it's been that way forever.
Okay.
It's been that way forever.
Okay.
And so it's been fascinating as I've watched, even from a young age.
Interesting.
I can't do this. I can't do that.
Hard on herself?
Oh yeah, super hard.
Yeah.
And again, at a young enough age to where I don't feel like it was impacted by
Right.
our nurture. Right?
Yes.
It was more of a nature thing.
Interesting.
And so I've made an intentional approach of teaching, positive mindset thoughts. Let's think about, let's say positive words and affirmations. Let's remember
Yeah.
what a great person you are and how amazing you're doing. And I've noticed that, notes are one of her love languages, so like written word.
Okay. Yeah.
And she'll keep the notes that I write and something that she can see. And so I'll try, in this girl dad camp I just did this weekend, they gave us each a journal. And so I wrote this 2-page love letter to her, basically, and to each, the 3 of my daughters.
Yeah.
And just trying to reassure the positive mindset, how much she's loved and how much I love her and how much God loves her and that she's a daughter of God and she's so talented and she's all of these things to try and reaffirm. But that's one of the challenges she faces is more of that negative mindset that comes more often than positive. And I can notice when you have a more positive mindset, life sometimes seems to fall into place for people because you see things in a way that's more light driven instead of seeing the shadows all the time. But it's not that it's not horrible. This is just a path that she has to take and learn to see the light, even though she sees more often the dark.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting and fascinating as she becomes an adult, how she hopefully takes things that we've taught her and incorporates them into her life.
Yeah.
But I think as a parent, it's our job to teach not only the life principles that we talked about and to teach them about God and Jesus. I think those are core responsibilities. But hopefully, as we've been learning our own life lessons and healing as an adult, I hope to be able to teach my children that they can access healing way faster than I did. There's a lot that I wish I would have known. Yeah. And I don't blame anybody. Don't blame my parents.
No. I get you.
They were doing the best they could with what they knew.
Yes.
I was doing the best I could with what I knew. As I gain more knowledge and experience, I want to be able to bestow that upon especially my children, if not others. And healing is one of those pieces that is just so deep. Yeah. We all need it.
Big time. And healing is a good thing. Like therapy, counseling, healing, it's all positive. Are you looking for businesses that have influencers attached to them or started by influencers? Or are you looking for a business that has the opportunity to exit and you can attach the influencer to it?
Yeah, the latter.
The latter.
Yeah, so it's...
and is it agnostic in terms of...
industry?
Correct.
Yeah,
okay.
Typically consumer product and consumer tech is where I focus.
Okay.
I spent a decade of my career in B2B.
Okay.
So I have and do look at some B2B businesses, but the last decade of my career has been more consumer focused.
Okay. Business to consumer.
Yeah. And usually it's not started by an influencer.
Okay.
That's normally not the case.
Okay.
I hate to say it, but most influencers are not as entrepreneurial in nature.
I found them to be
creative.
Terrible business leaders. Yes.
There's some great ones, but they're a phenomenal creator.
Yes.
And their minds work in such a unique way. But most are not entrepreneurs.
Correct.
In the get-go. So I find the entrepreneur who has found a larger market and who has traction already.
Okay.
Meaning they have customers, they have revenue coming in.
That's what I was going to ask. They have revenue?
I prefer that.
Okay.
And then if they're a repeat entrepreneur, that's even better.
Even better.
And then if I can see the story of where they're headed from a marketing standpoint, can I bring influencers to help them grow faster? That is more of an ideal situation.
Okay. And you're actively looking for...
Oh, yeah. I get deals every day.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. LinkedIn. People can find me on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Bubba Page.
And influencevc.vc.
Influence.vc. You can join the Angel List group.
Yep.
You just find it under influence.vc. When I'm on Instagram, it's more about faith and family, but I do businessy type stuff there too.
Sure. You have any big audacious goals?
Oh, some BHAGs,
Yes.
big, hairy, audacious goals.
I'm glad you
great.
said that. It's so funny. I said that on Sunday to Kennedy, my 10-year-old who's watching this, and she was like, "What does that mean?" And so that's when I love to tell Kennedy to dream big.
Hey, Good to Great. It's an awesome book.
Dream big.
He
Dream
built it. He did another book after, I can't remember. But big, hairy, audacious goals.
Yes.
I mean, so I've got spiritual.
Yeah,
you
no,
got, audacious goals.
Yep, I'm sure.
Some spiritual, so physical, spiritual, temporal,
sure,
financial. So from a spiritual goal, the goal is to be able to live someday with God, with my family, in His presence again.
There you go.
And so I would love to see Jesus, I'd love to see Him before I die.
Yeah.
So talk about a goal and being in a place where I can do what He wants. So that's a big, hairy one that I don't know how to accomplish yet. I'm working on it.
That's fun though.
Just doing the small, simple things and trying to go down that path. Physical goal, I'm a new CrossFitter.
Okay.
And so a couple of years I've been doing CrossFit and I absolutely love it.
Love it.
And I shocked myself. I did the Spartan Beast race. It's their longest, hardest race, 13 miles and 30 obstacles.
Wow.
I shocked myself and got in the top 2%. This summer, it was in July. And so I would love to even break that and get into the top 1%.
Oh, wow.
And see where I can stand. CrossFit is the perfect training ground for the Spartan race.
Fun.
Which is a blast. And they say that the Spartan race in Utah at Snow Basin Ski Resort is one of the hardest because of the elevation.
Oh, I can see that, sure.
All that stuff. So that's kind of fun. And then from a work standpoint, absolutely. So Influence VC, we're investing in these companies. I'd love to continue to do more of those deals, more frequently of those deals, and to grow from just a few hundred investors to a few thousand investors.
Okay.
So let's call it 10x. So big, hairy, audacious goal. Let's 10x my investor base.
Are you road showing that? Are you going to other cities and
no?
Okay.
But that's part of the goal.
I was going to ask. Yeah, is any reason? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, being on the podcast. Circuit helps.
Yes.
Spreading that word on social helps.
Correct.
Creating content on LinkedIn and on Instagram, things like that helps.
Because I think my 2 cents for whatever it might be worth, I think there's a little bit of a bridge needed in terms of, I think that sometimes people think they have to be an influencer with a business to come to you.
That has been a confusion for sure.
Right.
I need to clarify that.
Right. And so I believe in terms of human capital, in terms of scaling in today's world, Mr. Beast is a prime example, right? I mean, talk about a social media genius. Yep. I mean, literally the Michael Jordan of YouTube, if you will, right? Who has taken, and so anything that guy touches, doesn't matter where he puts people or what island or what, it's millions and millions and millions and millions. And so I think that's an interesting for you and please correct me, it's your platform, not mine, but from a business perspective, if I'm in Des Moines, Iowa, and I'm like, I don't have access to LA, to New York, to Seattle, to Salt Lake, but I have a business, and if I just could get more eyes on it and pour more gasoline on it, that's the perfect person you're looking for.
Could be, yeah.
Could be, yes.
The thing is with influence, I have no shortage of deals. So of entrepreneurs needing funding, I have zero shortage.
Got it.
I have more than enough. I have hundreds of deals that are coming to me a month. Where I need to grow are the investors who are willing to invest with me into those deals.
And you got to come up.
If when I go from a few hundred to a few thousand, I can now fund more deals more frequently, and so that is actually the goal. It's to find those accredited investors who want to participate in venture capital investments, which by all means should be less than 10% of your net worth, in my opinion, because of the risk profile. But who look at these as like, okay, I want to put 10K in or 25K or 50K into these different deals.
What about a VC fund?
VC funds, those are ones I would partner with,
right,
and co-invest with, but that's not even part of that need.
Okay.
The desire to grow and to scale is based on how many investors come into the syndicate.
I love it.
And so going from a few hundred to a few thousand, that's the big, hairy, audacious goal from that side of it.
Yes.
I have been working on, there's 2 other entities that I've got.
I thought you were going to say a book.
I do have a book.
I know.
So
I just
it's
had to drop it.
Yep. So thebusinessbootcamp.com is where I have been mentoring and coaching entrepreneurs. And so I do it on a one-on-one basis. We have group coaching and courses soon.
Love it.
But more one-on-one, and I've loved it. It's
really?
been really fun. I mean, I've been mentoring and advising people for over a decade.
Right.
But I formalized it and came up with a 12-week program that can really help somebody go from ideation to growth,
Cool.
real customers. And so that's been fun. So thebusinessbootcamp.com, you can hit me up on any of the socials and ask, and tee up a phone call. One I haven't launched yet is called fatherhoodmovement.com.
Oh, is that what you landed on?
Yeah.
You were kind of going back and forth between fatherhood
So the book,
versus...
fatherhood and entrepreneurship, the father operating system, father versus entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
There's a book associated. Fatherhood movement is the overarching.
Fatherhood movement. You got that .com.
I got it. Fatherhoodmovement.com.
Well done.
And it's that is more of like I feel compelled to help fathers.
Yeah.
And I'm building out in the book, it's this father operating system where we can set up a structure so that every day, every week, every month, every quarter, you know what to do. You don't need to come home from work and be scatterbrained on like how to be the best father. And the years are going to pass you by and be like, oh crap, did I really prepare my kids? Did I really set up a structure for them? Was I there for my spouse as much as I should have been? It'll set up a structure for you that every day you'll have certain tasks and items that you need to do. And then every week you can do things with your kids or your spouse. You're essentially building an operating system to where, like you would run a business, and the intentionality you would run a business, you can run your family with that same level of intention. I'm just building a process and a system that you can be flexible with and modify to customize your own, but it's going to be a structure that you can follow, and you can feel confident that if you follow these principles, you are going to do what you're supposed to do as a father, as a spouse, to be able to create you'll be proud of what you've built over the years. And when your kids end up leaving the home, you'll know that you've done the absolute best that you could for them by following this father operating system.
Right.
So yes, those are the pieces that I'm working on right now. Passionate about it. I love the idea. It's all like Christ centered.
Sure.
Bring people to Jesus is always going to be a part of my life. But then there's this healing element that I want, especially fathers. I just feel like we're not as in touch with the healing. And so until you've gone through hell and you've made it out through some depths of healing, I think a lot of us are just shoving it down and shoving these emotions and hurt and feelings down.
We're pushing it way down.
Way down.
Way down. We're ignoring it.
We're missing the opportunity. When we are a truly healed man, the divine masculine can come through us in a much different way. And what I mean by that is that our ability to create a relationship with our children and with our spouse can dramatically improve when we heal ourselves. We can't change anybody else. And so we have to focus on our own internal healing. And what that means is we're looking all the way back to our childhood.
Yeah.
And even if you didn't have big T trauma, you had little T trauma. There's still things deep down inside that maybe you didn't feel loved or you didn't feel seen or heard. And that you have this little boy inside you that when you get triggered, grabs a hold of you and you get tense, you get fight, flight, freeze, fawn kind of a thing. When we can realize that those triggers are signals to us to start healing. And if we can heal and recognize those triggers when they come, it will allow us to find, deeper meaning, better. We can react better and respond better to our family. And we'll be in a safer place for people. We as men, I feel like, need to be the safe place.
Yeah.
So I've said this before, I'll say it again. I believe we need to be what's called the bowl. And the bowl is firm. It's secure. It doesn't have leaks. We're holding what is the water, which is the more feminine energy in our lives. And we can hold it, whether it's calm and peaceful or whether it's a raging storm. But as men, we need to get to a place where we're healed enough inside to where we can hold space for that emotion that comes, whether it's your daughters or your spouse or your kids, whatever it is, your coworkers, whatever, that's splashing in, this feminine energy. We need to be able to hold that space. What that does is it helps people to feel more safe, feel more secure. That typically, if we can hear them out without getting defensive or taking it personally, then we'll be in a place where they feel seen and heard.
Yeah.
It's I think as men, we have a unique responsibility to be more like Jesus. And he does a great job in the scriptures of teaching us, instead of reacting, to take a moment to pause, to think about what we are going to say, or just to think about what we're hearing, and to give space for those people who need to share their emotion. We as men, I think, have a divine responsibility to be that safe place. And then for us, when we need to let out, some emotions, it usually needs to be done within a brotherhood.
Yeah.
And so I hope Fatherhood Movement can create that type of a brotherhood, a safe, healthy, not toxic masculinity. We're not talking about, look, I love guns just like the next guy, but it's not about, cigars and tattoos and muscles. It's more about knowing who we are.
Yeah.
And as we know who we truly are, and we heal from maybe past issues, we can be the type of man that we're meant to be.
I love that. Man, I hope you have a ton of success with that.
Well, thank you.
Because the world needs it. 3 last questions. The new entrepreneur that's watching this, what's the soundbite advice to him or her?
Just do it. Nike. Look, if you're a new entrepreneur, you've never done it before, you just have to do it.
Yeah.
You cannot learn just by reading books. You cannot learn just by being, watching Shark Tank. You actually have to get out there and do it. Now, does it help to have a mentor or a coach? By all means, hit me up. See if I can help you. But you just have to get out there. We now have today's day and age with technology and ChatGPT. Oh my gosh, you have
everything at your
huge
fingertips.
advantages right here at your fingertips. And then I would say, when you do start something, if you're a first-time entrepreneur, think service-based business first. Don't go the investor route. I'm probably not going to fund you as your first-time entrepreneur. So build a service-based company that you can do without investor dollars. Yeah. And then just get out there and hustle. People will hire you back for that service if you do a phenomenal job. Yeah. So get out there and do a good job, but just do it.
Good.
That's one tip.
Advice for the new father.
Ooh.
The new father. The one that's got all of it on his shoulders trying to figure it out.
I think on your deathbed, you will never say that you want to work more. I think you'll talk about the time you spent with your children, the investment you made in them. And I think that priority, putting priority first, faith, family, fitness, finance. And I know it's hard to juggle and balance. I do this because you're spinning plates. And you're probably going to have to spin some faster at some times than others. But just remember, your children are your greatest investment. Read the book, How Will You Measure Your Life by Clayton Christensen.
It's a good one.
And know that the weight is on your shoulders and you are the leader in the home. And so make your life with intention and be the leader you're meant to be. And things will go through. They'll be okay.
Love that. The person that's in the mud right now.
All right. Advice to the person who's in the mud. I'm looking at you. God is there. His hand is outstretched. He's waiting for you to come to him. And when you're in the mires of hell, that hand is still there, but it's you who has to reach out to him. His hand will always be outstretched. So reach out to him in true sincerity and humility and ask for help. Try to find gratitude wherever you can. But God is there. And even if you feel like there's a copper ceiling, it may mean because some of the choices in your life have not been conducive to having his spirit with you. So relook at your life, ask the question, what is it that I need to repent of? And then get to work. God is right there for you and he can help you out of this.
Love you, bro.
Hope that helps.
Thank you.